Hi, everybody. I'm going to get started. Welcome to our webinar where we're going to talk a little bit about assistive technology and the census. Nice to have you all here. As we go through, as I mentioned before, I'll give you a couple housekeeping things first. I realized that that wasn't the first slide. Sorry. We are the staff of the Richard West Assistive Technology Advocacy Center. My name is Mike Murata. I'm the director of the center, and we have Naomi with us also. Naomi is working the chat box. So if you have questions or thoughts or concerns, Naomi is in there and she can help you navigate through that as I go. We'll kind of do this as a team today. There's all of our contact information for our center. We are part of Disability Rights New Jersey. We are a federally funded project. We are the state's assistive technology center. Each state in the country has an assistive technology center that provides support to individuals with disabilities across the state. And we are the entity for New Jersey. We have a website you can follow us at, which is at4nj.org. We are the implementing agency for this project, and our lead agency is Department of Labor. A couple of the things we do, and then we'll jump right into our conversation for today. We have three large activities that we do throughout the year to promote the effective use of assistive technology for independence. One of them is assistive technology demonstrations. That would be something if you weren't sure what kind of technology might benefit you, our staff can work with you and show you different types of technology and go over the features of those devices with you and then help you make a decision on something that might work for you. I'm not saying it will, but maybe a direction to look that could possibly be supportive for you in your need. We do those across the state. The numbers I have up on the screen are just kind of giving you a sense of how many we do each year. These are our numbers from 2019. And in 2019, we did 1,302 demonstrations of technology. We also do loans of technology. So if you have a sense that a tool might work for you, but you want to try it out first before you buy it, we have a short-term loan program that will allow you to borrow devices for 3 weeks at a time to try out in your home or work or school, wherever you might need it, to see if that tool really works for you. And again, in last year, we did almost 500 loans of technology throughout the year, 475. The power of that loan center is that does not cost you anything. As a user of the loan center, we ship the technology to you, and when your loan period is done, you ship it back to us, and everything is prepaid. We handle all of that. And then the last thing we do as our large activities is we support reuse, trying to get all of those devices that are out in the community and not being used. Think about things that live in your garage or your basement or your attic that no one's using anymore. We get them back into the community, and we've partnered with Goodwill Home Medical. They take the equipment in, refurbish it, clean it, repair it, sterilize it, do all the things they need to do, and then they turn around and they put it back in the community for a considerably reduced price. And when I say considerably reduced, think like a bath chair for $10 or a cane for $5, those kinds of things. So it gets technology back into people's hands so they can keep using it. So those are our three big services we provide. All of that is at our website again, which is at4nj.org. I'll have to admit that because of the pandemic and COVID-19, many of our services, obviously that were face-to-face, are not happening that way anymore. We're doing a lot more things remotely, but we are still here and providing service. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to reach out to us through the website or through our email addresses that were at the front of the slides. All right, a couple of housekeeping things. I reminded you there was already a chat, so you're certainly welcome to participate in the chat. And like I said, Naomi is there and monitoring that for us. And hopefully we'll leave some time at the end for some questions. But when we're done today, we are recording this, and we will place the recording up on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and search ATAC NJ, you'll be able to find our channel, which has this recording. As of later today, it will have this recording and all of the previous things we've done. We do quite a bit of virtual instruction now, and we post everything up there, so you can find all that. All right, if you're interested in the slides, you also have a link on this page to get the slides. They're available to you online if you use the web address bit.ly/ATAC422. That will get you the slides. You'll see exactly what you're seeing right now, but you'll have access to all the links and all the information that's in there. Let me just so you have it. And I'll put that in the chat just so that you guys have it there. And why not? Yes, I can. Thank you, Sue. There you go. Ask and you shall receive. There you go. So the link is in the chat for you guys to have it. All right, let's jump in a little bit. So our focus today is talking about the census and this idea of making sure your voice is heard and participating in this process, which is key. Our slant for this is using some of the tech we might have already in order to access this material. So that's the slant we're looking at today. I think we're all in agreement. The census is really important. We all need to participate in it. We all need to do it. That part's an understood. Our part is that, okay, now that you have this, whether it's through paper or through the website, how do we use technology to ensure that we can participate in it and can complete it effectively? And so we're going to look at some of the things that are built into our technology that we have already. And that would be your smartphones, whether it's an Apple phone or an Android phone, or any of your computer systems, whether that's a Windows machine, a Mac, or even a Chromebook. All of those things to allow you to get access to the information to participate. And some of the features that we're going to talk about, maybe they're ones you're familiar with already. And if you've had experiences with this, good or bad, I'm game for even a bad experience with technology because it does help us kind of understand ways that people could use it better. These features are there. Text to speech, having things read out loud. Voice recognition, allowing me to speak to computers and let them do something for me. Having a screen reader that tells me everything on the screen. Using on-screen keyboards to allow me to write into in this case, the form, the website for the census, or even looking at some extensive use of alternate access tools like scanning. So people that use switches or some other alternate access method can also use this, use assistive technology to support their access to the census. So we'll go through them quickly. And again, we only have a half hour. Think of this as kind of a peek, a little peek under the hood for you. And your homework, yes, that's right, you'll get a little homework. Your homework will be to explore this a little deeper on the devices you have. So whether it's your phone or a tablet or your computer, as you go through and you're looking for some kind of fun tech exploration to do, go and explore a little bit. We're not going to look at all of them, but I will highlight a few. And if you get stuck and you want more support, that could be your moment. You could certainly reach out to us and we would be happy to jump on a meeting like this with you. So myself or Naomi could set something up like this, and you and Naomi, or you and I, or all three of us for that matter, could sit in one of these video conference rooms and we could go through things together and explore. So certainly know that that's an option. When we think about using the Apple products, whether it's a mobile device like an iPhone or an iPad, or their computer devices, which is a Macintosh computer, they have a depth of features that a lot of people don't even know they have and they don't have access to. And there's a list on the screen of things that exist inside the Apple devices. And on the screen, in the two pictures, you have kind of a screenshot of where those tools live in those respective platforms. On your computer, if you have a Mac computer, it lives under the Apple, and then System Preferences, and then Accessibility. So that's the path of how you find those features. On your phone or iPad, you go into Settings, and then you find Accessibility, and all these features live there. We'll talk about a couple. We'll talk about screen reading and text-to-speech, and we'll touch on voice recognition a little bit. But there are some other things here. The ability to control your phone or tablet with switches. So if you're someone who has a physical limitation and you need access, you can do it that way. If you need the screen enlarged, there is magnification on those devices to allow you to make things larger. If you're in the Chrome browser in any platform, you can make the entire display larger by simply hitting Control and the plus key, and it will make the screen larger for you. So those magnifications are built into not even just our computers, but also the browsers that we use to access information. And so we'll start with this idea of using a tool to read information out loud to you. And so when I think about that, it's this idea of text on the screen and I need it to be read to me. So I was afraid we wouldn't get a good share of my screen. I was a little nervous about that during the webinar. So instead what I did is I made a short little video clip that I'll play after I talk about it. And hopefully that will work a little more seamlessly. We'll see. Fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. But in your iOS device, you have two ways to have text read from your screen. You can choose either speak selection or speak screen. Now, when you hit those, think about, we'll talk about speak selection first, and that's what the video shows. Speak selection allows you to find any text on the screen, and you hold your finger down on it, and then what happens? It highlights it, and it gives you a small little toolbar there to copy or look up, whatever might be there as an option. Once you've selected text, you can turn on a feature that will then allow your computer, your device, your phone or your tablet to read that out loud to you. So we'll play that little video real fast and then we'll talk about it a little more. Sorry, that was me. I hit the wrong button. I apologize. See, tech things, it happens. There you go. So we're scrolling through the page. I'm going to select some text and then draw the box around it.
It's safe, secure, and confidential. Your information and privacy are protected.
So you get that sense of how to do that. You simply hold down your finger, select some text, expand the box however much you want to be read, and then you choose the button that says speak.
Your response helps to direct billions of dollars in federal funds to local communities for schools, roads, and other public services.
So when you get a sense of how that works, it's a real short video of that, but what a powerful feature that is. That's a feature, and we're not going to show it on all the devices, but every device you have has that feature in it now. It might be called something different. It might not be called speak selection. Like on an Android phone, it's called select to speak. On a Chromebook, it's called select to speak. So it's called something different, but the task, what it accomplishes, is the same. It is text to speech. I find some text on the screen, I select it, and then I read it out loud to me. So if you're looking for a way to quickly access the information on the Census website, that might be the way to do it. Simply choose the text and have it read aloud to you. That's called speak selection. So if you notice in that video, I had selected each bullet separately and read it out loud. If you want to hear an entire page read to you, there's another option called speak screen, where simply you have the website up again, and then if you swipe down from the top of your screen, the whole page will read to you. And then you don't have to worry about selecting the text and choosing it. So a real simple way to move through and have text read to you. Now, the other thing I wanted to show, which is a little different, it provides a similar support, but it does it a little differently, is, oh, Sue commented, thank you, Sue. I saw that pop up. Naomi, I know I'm taking your job, but it did make sense to ask it, to say it right now. Sue asks, it was speaking fast. Is there a way to slow that down? There is. If you were to go back in the settings where you go to turn that on, there's an option, Sue, to adjust the speed. You can also adjust the voice, and you can also adjust the colors of how it read. If you saw on the little video, it was the text that I chose was highlighted blue, and then the text that was being read was highlighted yellow within that blue. You can change those colors also. That just happens to be the colors I chose on my phone, but you can change all that. That's a great question. Thank you. I appreciate that. So we go back to this one. This is called VoiceOver. This is what's known as a screen reader. Predominantly, these features, especially a screen reader, are designed for individuals who are visually impaired or blind, with the thought being they're going to provide them audio support for everything on the screen. And what do I mean by everything? You think about what I just showed you with the speak selection. All that would read to me was text on the screen that could be seen by the computer. But even if we look at the census website, there is text on the screen that is part of an image or is part of a link. And I, as an individual, may need that read aloud to me. I might need navigation support to understand how the page is laid out. And so while this is typically shown as a feature for people who are blind or visually impaired, I look at this as a feature for anyone who needs audio support as they move through text. So I want you to kind of think broadly about this. I know a lot of times companies try to put these features into little buckets and say, this is for this group and this is for that group. And I want you to think broadly instead and say, what is the feature doing? And do I need that? In this case, it's reading things out loud. Do I need that? It doesn't matter what my abilities are. It's a need that I have, and then you use that. So what VoiceOver does a little differently is reads everything on the screen. So I'll click the button and I'll just let it play, and then we can chat about it for a second.
VoiceOver on. CarPlay. United States Census 2020. Image. Navigation. Landmark. Menu. Button. End. Navigation. Collapsed. Menu. Expanded. Frequently asked questions. Link. Instructions. Link. The 2020 census questionnaire should be completed by the person who owns or rents the living quarters.
I'm going to stop it there to give you a sense. I think that gave us enough of what I wanted you to see. Is it text being read aloud? Is that the support? Sure. But it was very different in that you heard some of the things it had said. First, it said VoiceOver on. It said CarPlay because my phone was still close enough to my car, so it was still connected. So that's why it was doing that. But then it told you that it saw an image at the top, and it announced that as an image, but it read the text and then announced it as an image. Everywhere I clicked on the screen, it announced to me what that was. It saw the navigation and told me it was navigation, and it was collapsed. When I clicked it, it then was able to read all of the options in the navigation. When I clicked instructions, it brought me to the instructions page, but also read the text to me. Really powerful to give someone support about everything that's on a page. For some people, that getting everything is too much information, but for some users, that is really powerful because of that fact that it does tell me everything that's happening on the page. So that's called a screen reader. A little different from text to speech, but also a similar support. We have voice access. Again, every tool you have has voice access now. Turn it on and speak to your device. It'll either answer questions for you, as Siri will do, or if you use that on a form where you're typing, it will type for you. So this idea of needing to use the keyboard is not true all the time anymore. We can use the voice to navigate through and support ourselves as we move through a website. Oh, and sorry, my phone just turned on. It heard me talking and it turned on. We think about a Windows machine, same idea. All these features exist. They exist in your settings, and then it's called ease of access. So that's the part of settings that you want to get in. And again, very similar supports. Text to speech through a tool called Narrator. There's a magnifier, high contrast, closed captions, an on-screen keyboard, some mouse functions. And if you think about captions, if you notice along the top of my slides, I have captions running. Those captions, I'm not typing them. I am nowhere close to being that effective as a typist. But what it's doing is using my microphone and my laptop to hear what I'm saying and then put it at the top of the screen for you. So it's doing automatic captions for me in the slides. Very powerful. And if we're looking obviously at video files that we access, we want to make sure we can turn captions on. Or if we're doing something where there is audio support, can I get captions to give me that visual support as well as I go through it? Other browsers have different features, and I wanted to point out, if you have a Windows machine and you use the Edge browser, the Edge browser has a reading feature now, to where if you open up that browser and go to any web page and pull down the settings option, there's a choice there that says read aloud. And I'll flip over to that browser real fast. So here I am in the Edge browser, and I'm going to go to my 3 buttons for my settings, and I'm going to choose read aloud. And I'll pause it for a second. And what it did was brought up a toolbar along top of my screen that has play buttons. And now I can select any text I want and hit the button.
Health clinics, fire departments, schools, even roads and highways.
That's built into my browser. I didn't have to do anything else except turn the button on. And if you turn it on, that button will stay there, and any text on your screen, you can simply select it and have it read back to you. Again, you didn't have to buy anything. All you had to do was turn it on, and it was there and it was built in. If you're using an Android device, Android's a little trickier than Apple devices, and I'll tell you why. You see there's a huge list there of features that are in your Android devices, with one caveat. Not every Android device is built the same way. And so what I find is that depending on your Android phone or tablet, you may not have all of these features. And that's because Android, as kind of an open operating system, allows people to change it and customize it the way they choose. And also, different versions of the Android system have different features built into it. So with this, you might not get all of this support. If you have an Android device like a Pixel phone or a Samsung, one of the newer Samsung phones, the assumption is, on my part, you're going to have all these features. But if you have an older device, or maybe a tablet that was inexpensive, like an Android tablet that was like $30 or $40, they might not have all these features. So keep that in mind as you go through it, as you start to think about what it is you want access to. And it's the same thing. We have text to speech. We can access the screen with switches. I can use my voice. I have closed captions. I have all those visual display choices I had for fonts and magnification and color. Those all exist on Android as well, in addition to their text to speech, which is called select to speak. Same idea. Turn that on and simply drag your finger across text on the screen and it will read it automatically to you. Your Android devices have voice access just like your Apple devices. That's what I'm saying when you talk about this idea of the tool starts to not matter too much. It's just knowing the features that are in there and how to access them. And I'll give you a couple more. We have like 5 minutes and I'll hopefully leave a minute for a question or two. If you think of one, drop it in the chat and we can get through it, either Naomi or myself. Here's a couple that are not built in, but they may give you some different levels of support. And one of them is called Seeing AI. So this is an app from Microsoft, and it allows you to take pictures of things, and then it will read them out loud to you. And when I say pictures of things, what I'm thinking of in our context of our half hour today, if you have the paper census form, you can take a picture of it and this will read it to you. So perhaps you don't need support for writing on it, but you just need support to hear what it says, and then you can write your answers down or check the box. This will let you do that by using the camera on your device to take a picture and then read it out loud to you. This is a free app. So you would have to install it, but it is free, so it didn't cost you anything still. Maybe there are others that have a little bit of a cost, but I just wanted to give you some options that are there. You have some tools that will, and again, these apps have a fee to them. The app at the top left is called Prismo. Same idea. It uses the camera of your device to allow you to take a picture and have that read out loud to you. The tools on the bottom are from a company called Claro, and they have two different apps. They have one called PDF, which is a tool that allows you to take a picture of things and then mark it up. So if you wanted to take a picture and then mark that document up and then send it to yourself electronically, you could do that. Their other app is called ScanPen, which is basically a camera app that allows you to take a picture and then read the text aloud. So you would still need to physically manipulate the paper to write on it. If you wanted to fill out the form electronically, and there are people that choose to do this, they would rather fill the form out and mail it in. They don't want to go to the website. That's fine too, if that's what you want to do. There is an extension you can put in your browser called Kami, K-A-M-I, and it allows you to put any document in there. So imagine you could take a picture of this with your phone, drop it up into your computer, and then fill out the form online. Online meaning online at your computer. Fill it out, print it, mail it, if that was what you wanted to do. And again, however you want to do this, there are tech tools that will let you do this. We gave you a bunch of resources there. And again, when you get to the slides from the link that was in the chat, once you get there, these will be active and you can click and go right there and you can get some more information about different accessibility pieces, as well as other tools that might help you as you go through and want to add other functionality to your device. Before I go to questions, I want to show you one other thing. And if you have a question, drop it in there. But I do want to show you one other thing. Kind of like a thing, something that's coming. Here's something that we need to look at. This is very much an assistive technology tool from Microsoft called Election Guard. And we start thinking about what future voting tools might look like. This is a tool that is getting some use. In the primaries, they've been using it to see if it was effective. But what it is a tablet with a base that allows you to plug in any adaptive support into it. So it's also giving you the ability to plug in. If I use a joystick to control something, I can plug a joystick into this and then navigate through the device for voting. So I just wanted to put this out there as kind of the next wave of hopefully AT when we look at using it for elections. But this device is pretty cool. And I wanted to make sure we saw that. Okay, now 1 minute for questions. Sorry about that. Anything else that we can help you with or questions you might have? Remember, you have our website. I'm going to put the link to the slides back in the chat so you have it. Of course, I got to spell it right. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. There you go. There's the link to the slides. Are there. And also, if you want to reach out to Naomi or myself, there is our email address that will get to both of us, which is atac@drnj.org. And that'll get you to both of us. And then if you want us to reach out and set something up for you or help you navigate some technology, we can certainly do that. Or if you just have questions about something, feel free. We're here. And like I said before, we're working, even though we're working remotely, we are all here working. And we're happy to share some resources with you and make sure that you are getting the support from technology that you need in order to be independent. So with that, I will say, if there's no other questions, which I don't see any in the chat box, So here's a question. Do you have any tips for developing outreach content or for hosting virtual meetings in a way that make them more accessible? Oh, you've hit on one of my soapbox moments, and let me pull my soapbox out. I think in this world of virtual meetings after virtual meeting after virtual meeting, we need to be aware of the accessibility piece. And if you do nothing else than what I'm doing now with running a slide and having the caption going, that is a good first step. Think about that when you're hosting these meetings, is what's being shared. Is it being shared in a way that everyone can get access to it? Whether that's the captions, whether it's descriptions of the slides. And I'm sure all of us have been in a meeting where it's been a slide presentation that no one has explained what's on the slide. And they just move from one picture to another without a thought of audio description of the things on those slides. And so I always say that to people. Think about how you're presenting information and how you're giving people the ability to have access to you during this virtual meeting. The other comment is have the chat. We should be constantly promoting the idea of the chat box for people that want to share about information being discussed, but don't want to get on the microphone or don't want to be on video. And that's okay. It's another avenue to provide support. And as far as outreach content, accessibility, accessibility, accessibility. If you put out something with video, make sure it has captions. If you put out something that is audio, make sure there is a transcript. If you're putting things up on a website, make sure it's accessible and people can move through it and get that information read aloud. A lot of times now, I do a lot of work in schools also, and schools are sending home packets of technology, packets of work, or they're giving students access to PDFs. And a PDF is not always accessible for somebody to have text read aloud. So think about how you're sharing information. And I think that would be a good first step. Good question, thank you. Anybody else? You see, I can just rattle on after you ask a question. I'm glad you were here. I hope you found this helpful. Again, as a quick little intro to some tech, please follow our website where we'll have a bunch of information there about upcoming events, upcoming virtual events, and ways that you can connect with us. So I appreciate your time today. Be safe, be well. Hope to talk to you soon. Thanks.